State of the program, Arkansas Razorbacks edition. If you are new to this exercise, our goal is to go through all of our favorite college basketball programs and assess the overall state of where they stand in the sport. How we do this, we have five categories: returnees, departures, recruits, transfers, and vibes. And J-Man and I each have a scale of 1 to 10 for each of the five categories. 50 points for him to give out, 50 points for me to give out, added up in the end, and we have an overall state of the program score that we can compare to all of the other top programs in the sport. Just to frame this, if you are someone that hasn't watched any other videos in the series, number one, go watch them. Many of them are already out on the channel. But where do we stand in terms of standings? We have the low end of the spectrum being around 50 points. We have the high end of the spectrum, one team at 91 points. Only one team at 91, one team in the 70s. Everybody else in this exercise is in the 60s. So hopefully that gives a baseline of what to expect and where you are relative to the rest of the sport. Today we are talking the Arkansas Razorbacks, year 2 of John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks. This should be fun. We start with returnees, and I'll go through every player that is back for Arkansas right now. We begin with Carter Knox, a guy that could have taken his talents to the NBA draft, likely would have been a first-round pick last season, but instead, we see sophomore Carter Knox back to Fayetteville this year. Along with him, DJ Wagner, the former #1 rated recruit in the country, back for his junior season under John Calipari. He made small strides last year, 11 points and 4 assists a game, was overall a solid, good SEC guard. Still waiting for the potential that was promised to potentially shine through. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but either way, he's got a lot of experience and some talent to go with it. Alongside Knox and Wagner, Trevon Brazile is back for yet another year. And Billy Richmond, another 5-star recruit that has NBA upside, that is back for year 2. It's kind of rare to see multiple of those guys back for a Calipari team, but in the NIL era, Cal's been able to get both Knox and Billy Richmond back. 1 to 10, what is your grade for Arkansas's returnees?
I've fought back and forth on this a lot. I'm going to give them somewhat of a high grade. I'm giving them 7 out of 10. I almost gave them an 8, but I'm giving them 7 out of 10. And the reason it's not an 8 is because DJ Wagner, he has to show me that he takes that leap. His last 4 games last year, he shot 17 of 54 for 31% from the field. He's just got to be more efficient for Arkansas, which I think he can be with one more year under them. But Brazile, I like him. Carter Knox, as you said, NBA type of potential coming back is a big deal. Averaged 10 points in 31 minutes his last 18 games on 52, 43, 90 splits. His role will increase, obviously. And Billy Richmond, you hit on him too. He was called Arkansas's best defender last year by one of his teammates. So Billy Richmond, if he's going to be the best defender on the team, I'm high on him. But overall, as the grade, I give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I think 7's probably in the ballpark I'm looking here. I might be a little bit higher than that. I don't know what to do with DJ Wagner, to be honest with you.
That's
Because,
my hiccup.
like, commodity wise, a kid that talented that's played that many minutes should be worth a lot in this category. But, with how Cal's trying to build his rosters, it's fair to question, do you want that guy back at this point? Like, would the team be better just handing the keys to Acuff and Malik Thomas, who are studs, and we're going to talk about them in a moment. But I don't know. I thought Wagner contributed in a good way last year. Like, I thought they really rebounded nice at the end of the year. When Boogie Flam was in and out of the lineup, it felt like DJ Wagner was actually a more steady presence. So I might be buying back into Wagner, which is crazy. I never would have thought I would say that after his year with Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham. Given the fact that I'm kind of buying stock with him, and Knox and Richmond back is huge, I think I'm going to go a 9 for this. I think I'm going to go a 9. And it could be a 10 if they had just a few more depth-related pieces back. It also could be a 10 if I just trusted DJ Wagner more. But ultimately, it's a lot of talented pieces that I would not have been stunned to see either portal or go pro. And I think Cal deserves some credit for getting them all back. Let's move to the next category. It's departures. Solely looking at the players that left here, kind of taking anything else that replaced them out of it. The full list of guys that are gone from last season includes John L. Davis, the Florida Atlantic transfer, who underwhelmed in his 1 year under Calipari. Jonas Adu, who came from Tennessee and gave them another underwhelming year, only 7-5 last year. But those are two vets that won a lot of games in college, along with them that are gone. Adu Thiero, who is in the NBA or trying to remain in the NBA. Zvonimir Ivisic joined his brother at Illinois after a clunky 2 years under Cal at Kentucky and Arkansas. Boogie Fland stays in the SEC and goes to Florida, one of the more high-profile transfers that we saw. Casimir Chavis and Melo Sanchez were both late ads last year that are now out of the program. In the end, that is 7 players gone. I would say Davis, Adu, Boogie Fland, and Thiero were all big-time rotation members. Zvonimir was in and out depending on whatever moment you looked at the season. So a lot of talent out. Some guys you could convince me could be addition by subtraction, but certainly some studs that helped Arkansas win a lot of games. They get a 10 here if they lose nothing substantial. They get a 0 if they lose everything. What are you going with grade-wise here?
So again, this is one that I'm interested to know what you grade because Arkansas, they did like that's a lot of guys they lost, but like you said, there could be addition by subtraction for a team that was 8-10 in the SEC play. So though they lost so many bodies, I think some of that was calculated and probably a good loss addition by subtraction. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Boogie Flan. Like, yeah, he was a scorer for them in and out of the lineup with injury, 13 and a half points per game. But he had 13 games last year where he shot worse than 40% from the field. There was just some games where he would shoot them out of it. When Wagner was off and Boogie Flan were off at the same time, it was disastrous for Arkansas. So maybe with Wagner being the guy now instead of having him and Flan, maybe that will give you your Wagner stock that you're buying into. So Flan leaving's not the worst case for me, in my opinion, right now. And the other guys are replaceable with guys that we'll talk about later in this episode. So I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10.
You know, it's a strange one to score. I don't hate your argument for 7. I think I'm gonna go 5. I think I'm gonna go 5. Man, on the flip side of the spectrum, you could argue like Thiero is awesome.
Mhm.
And John L. Davis is talented. I think he would start on this team. Adu is a vet that I trust more than some of the front court members on this team. And Boogie Fland, like losing him to Florida is massive. That's not something I think anyone wanted to have happen. And it just seemed like all parties needed a fresh start at this point if you're Arkansas. So I just looking at those names alone, it probably should be more like a 2 or a 3 for me. But to your point, there's quite a few guys that I think Cal can convince himself he's happy to see go. And I think Boogie Fland is even one of those. To me, the only one that really kills you is Thiero. He was
Yeah.
just a constant for them. But outside of that, I think Cal's kind of ready for a fresh start away from a lot of these guys, despite the way the season ended. So I'm going to go 5. I think it's a testament to what Calipari has been able to do year over year to make it feel like all that talent that's outgoing isn't even going to matter. But
Mhm.
we'll see where we go. From here, we move to recruits next, a category we always expect John Calipari to score very highly in. This year, there are technically 7 players listed as freshmen on this roster. However, some of these guys are international ads and just guys that we have no idea what to expect. The ones we do know what to expect from. Darius Acuff, one of the biggest prestigious recruits in the country, 5th rated player per 24/7. I think the best point guard in the class, unless you consider Michael Brown that's probably up for debate. Beyond Darius Acuff, you have Malik Thomas, another consensus 5-star, 12th rated player, 6'4" shooting guard with NBA upside. Isaiah Sealy is a 4-star, 6'7" wing. Outside of that, you've got 4 different international prospects, or excuse me, 3. Kareem Retail, Paulo Semedo, and Elmir Dizafic, who 2 of those, Semedo and Dizafic, are both 7'1". I will say, from smart international basketball scouts that I follow, there are differing opinions on what to expect from these guys. Many of them are implying that these guys should never set foot on the floor at Arkansas. So for the sake of my score, I'm really looking at Acuff and really just Malik Thomas as a duo. I'm not really factoring anything else in. What grade are you going to go with here?
So I'm doing the same, but I'm factoring in Sealy because John Calipari, the one thing I love about Calipari is he'll tell you exactly what he's thinking. He doesn't really BS anything when he talks. He's very blunt and straightforward. And he said Isaiah Sealy is a guy that has surprised him so far this summer. So I'm adding Sealy to that. And with that, even if it was those two, your two guys, again, I'm curious to know your grade. I give their grade a 10 out of 10 because both those guys are projected NBA lottery picks. And Calipari said Acuff Jr. is a mix of D Rose and De'Aaron Fox. He's a walking bucket that can finish around the rim. He can shoot it. And then Malik Thomas, 6'5", combo guard. Again, played at overtime elite, and which we talked about in one of our other shows, 32 points per game. So I think he can score it though. Listed as the 10th best on NBADraftRoom.com's mock draft. He is a bucket. Darius Acuff is a bucket. And Calipari talking highly about Sealy has me convinced that he'll be a guy for Calipari in the rotation at 6'7", 195. And then to go to your point about the international prospects, he had a great quote about Samidu. He said that he has to catch up physically and with his conditioning. So basically, the two most important things for a 7-footer in college basketball, Samidu has to catch up both physically and with his conditioning. So that is very hilarious by John Calipari. But the class 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna go 10 out of 10 too. Just talent wise, I think you have to. I think you have to, and maybe we'll be wrong. Maybe we'll look back and Malik Thomas doesn't have the impact we think. He might not start, but I love Acuff. Acuff's a kid grew up in the state of Michigan. I got a close look at him through the prep ranks. Ended up going out of the state for his prep basketball really in his last couple years and was awesome. He really has earned every bit of his 5-star, fifth best player in the class reputation. Curious to see where he falls after a year on the Calipari list. We've seen NBA Hall of Famers come through and kind of take the keys for a year. I don't know how good he's going to be. I know he's going to be better than DJ Wagner on paper, that's for sure. But the Arkansas ceiling, I think, comes down to is Acuff De'Aaron Fox good? Is he Jamal Murray good? Or is he just okay in the middle of the pack on the Calipari guards list? I don't know what that'll be, but I'm excited to see it. We move from recruits to transfers. Next, this is the one category I think you could look at Cal a little bit sideways on and say, hey, you didn't really try a lot of theatrics here. Malik Ewan is the big name from Florida State. Very productive last season. 14 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 6'11". You would think he starts in the front court alongside Trevon Brazile. And then Nick Pringle is the other player here from South Carolina. He has one more season. He's a grad transfer, 10-6 last year. I would call both these guys depth adds. However, Ewan's a starting caliber player, and even Pringle has started games. So, if you want to call them good starters, fine by me. I don't view either as national championship caliber starting fives. So ultimately, this team is going to have to find their answers, I think, in the backcourt and on the wings. But they probably spent a lot of money getting guys to return. And maybe that's why the transfer class took a little bit of a hit here. 1 to 10, what are you grading this transfer class?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And Malik Ewan, like you said, he had 9 double doubles for Florida State last year, third in the ACC in offensive rebounding with over 3 a game. And then Pringle, fifth year, but Wofford, Dodge City, Alabama for 2 years, South Carolina, and now Arkansas. He is just traveling the Southeast, it looks like. But he started every game, like you said, and they're two guys that will bring in the experience, something that Calipari teams obviously never really had with him being such a one and done guy. But now with this transfer portal era, you're getting experience at your front court. And so I'm going to give it right down the middle. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because I like the vision of bringing in two guys that have 4 years or 5 years of college basketball experience being reliable in your front court. It won't be flashy, but they're going to do their job and they're going to do it at a very high level since they're fourth and fifth year guys. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to give it a 3. I wish they did more here. I'll
Yeah.
be point blank. And I feel like I'm grading very positively across the board pretty much everywhere and even in the first categories on this video. I can see how you would land at a 5 because they know what they're getting. They're getting vets that have a high floor, I would say. But I just think they needed a higher ceiling ad in the front court. And I didn't love their front court last year, but I like Jonas Adu better than these guys. I mean, I thought Adu anchored really good defenses at Tennessee, and you knew what you were getting. Zvonimir was at least the upside play. I don't see the upside play here. I think they're going to have to go small quite a bit, which could work in this team's favor, honestly, in closing games. But to me, if Cal sort of mentally budgeted, okay, I need this chunk of my funds to bring all these guys back, could you have made sure DJ Wagner leaves and gotten a star center in the portal? Could you have even let Billy Richmond go and get a star center in the portal? I think you probably could have. And I'm not saying that's for sure what he should have done, but I would have liked the roster on paper more. So for me, it's only a 3. I think if this season goes sideways, we will look back on the fact they didn't shoot higher in the transfer portal for a bigger name front court player as the reason why. Lastly, vibes. Can't wait to hear how we grade this one. 1 to 10. You can do whatever you want reasoning wise for vibes of Arkansas basketball overall.
Yeah, so my vibes are pretty high for Arkansas because it's going to be an 8 out of 10 for me. And my main reason, the reason it carries so much weight is because they're two 5 stars that are coming in to be the guys on the team. Like I said, they're NBA talent. They're going to be lottery pick guys. Akoff and Malik Thomas are going to come in day one and be dudes for John Calipari. And like I said, if Akoff is what Calipari says, a mix of D Rose and De'Aaron Fox day one, then my vibes are going to be high because of that. I don't care if everybody else was a bust. That guy is a hooper, and so is Malik Thomas. So my vibes, strictly because of those two guys, they can take over games, are 8 out of 10.
Okay, so I think that's a good score. I think I'm going to be in a similar range. The way I do vibes is a very unique approach. So I start with a baseline 5, and then I add or subtract a point for each data point as we go. This is where I landed on Arkansas's vibes. Start at a baseline 5. -1 point for you lost Boogie Flan to the team that just won a national championship in your conference. -1 for 75% of last season. This team kind of stunk to watch. Like, if we really step back, it wasn't all that fun. It wasn't a good product for most of last season. So now we're at a 3 for vibes. +1 for I can't believe we actually still have John Calipari. We're Arkansas. +1 for Eric Musselman, our old coach, looks like he stinks at USC. +1 for Darius Acuff is here, 5-star guard. +1 for the other 5-star, Malik Thomas is here. +1 for Carter Knox is back. And most importantly, as I alluded to on another video, +1 for we beat Mark Pope last season, head to head. That one matters to me. All in all, you add it together, and I get a 9. 5 down to a 3, up 6 +1 points to a 9. Not too far off from where you graded it. We add it together. It's going to be interesting. Arkansas gets 73 points. That's the 3rd highest score of the exercise. We've done about 15 of these so far. So all in all, state of the Arkansas program, we're feeling pretty good about it. Just for comparison purposes, 2 points below where we graded Kentucky. Does that feel right to you, J-Man?
I think it does. I mean, I think both's a toss-up. And so it being 2 points, I agree with. It is just very funny because if the Arkansas fans want to go back and watch your Kentucky video was great where you just teed it up with great vibes and you pulled the carpet out from underneath them. It's like actually they lost to Calipari too. So I do think it's right. I would probably grade that as right there, but Arkansas is right there for a reason because they have high vibes and have really good talent coming in.
Yeah, it's one of those things. These two are going to tussle, right? Mark Pope and John Calipari are going to have to, someone's got to win and someone's got to lose the breakup. Right now, I think both sides are very happy with where things are headed. And because they're happy, that means both programs are in a really healthy spot. Our second and highest 3rd grades in the entire state of the program project. So fascinating stuff as always. Thank you, J-Man. If you like this video, go watch the others. We got a bunch of these out on the channel right now. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of them.